He was a quiet, curious boy who loved books more than toys. Raised by a teenage mother and adopted by a Cuban immigrant, Jeff Bezos wasn't born into wealth, privilege, or fame. In fact, he spent his childhood fixing broken pipes at his grandfather's ranch and reading under the stars. But something inside him, an unstoppable hunger to understand how the world works, would later build Amazon, one of the biggest companies in history. Today, you're not just going to hear his story. You'll learn English with his most powerful life lessons. 10 rules that guided him from a garage to global domination. And through his words, you'll improve your vocabulary, sharpen your thinking, and grow a success mindset. Ready to learn English the Jeff Bezos way? Let's begin. Bezos often says, if we think long-term, we can accomplish things that people won't believe. In English, long-term means something that happens over many years, not days or weeks. When Jeff started Amazon, he didn't aim for fast money. He focused on building a future, even when no one believed him. So when you study English, don't rush. Think long-term. Speak a little better every day, and one day people will admire your fluency like they admire his success. This is a great phrase to learn. Vision means your big goal or dream. Flexible means you can adjust when things change. Jeff believed in the dream of online shopping, but he changed his plans many times to survive. So if your English journey feels hard, don't give up. Keep your vision, but try new ways. Watch videos, read books, or talk to people. Just like Bezos, adapt and move forward. When Amazon launched the Fire Phone, it failed. But Bezos didn't hide. He called it a lesson. In English, the phrase, part of invention, means you must make mistakes to discover something new. Don't be afraid to make grammar errors or pronounce words wrong. Every mistake is your teacher. So what do Jeff Bezos' 10 life lessons teach us? They aren't just business rules. They are mindset shifts. And more than that, they are English lessons in disguise. When you hear phrases like think long-term or learn from failure, you're not just understanding Jeff Bezos, you're growing your vocabulary. You're speaking with power. You're thinking like a global leader. Remember, Jeff started small just like you. He wasn't a genius at birth. He built his mind step by step. And now you can too. Learn English. Learn life. Build your own success story. The next one we tell on this channel could be yours. He was not born into wealth, power, or prestige. Jeff Bezos came from a modest beginning, raised by a teenage mother who had to fight just to stay in school while caring for him. His biological father disappeared early in his life, leaving a void that many would see as a setback. But at the age of 4, Jeff was adopted by Miguel Bezos, a Cuban immigrant who came to the United States alone with no money, no English, and no guarantee of success. This quiet man would go on to help shape the values of the boy who would change the world. Jeff grew up in a household built on sacrifice, discipline, and silent dreams. His mother believed in education and gave him room to explore, while his adoptive father worked long hours as an engineer, building a stable life from the ground up. Jeff's early years weren't filled with luxury. They were filled with questions. Even as a young boy, he was obsessed with how things worked. He would take apart his crib with a screwdriver, dismantle household appliances, and spend hours reading science fiction. But what truly set him apart wasn't just intelligence. It was curiosity, fueled by hard work. Summers were spent on his grandfather's ranch in Texas, where Jeff repaired windmills, laid pipes, and branded cattle. These were not glamorous jobs, but they taught him patience, independence, and problem-solving. He learned that building something valuable takes effort, time, and a willingness to get your hands dirty. From a young age, Jeff dreamed big, but those dreams had to grow in quiet corners. In school, he was that kid who read books while others played, who created science projects just for fun, who built early computer systems long before the internet was a household term. He wasn't loud about his goals. He wasn't flashy. He simply kept working, learning, and moving forward. His intelligence didn't make him arrogant. It made him hungry. Every obstacle became a reason to learn more. Every failure was a chance to adjust and improve. And yet, his story doesn't begin in Silicon Valley. It begins in small, unnoticed moments, like watching his mother fight to get him a good education, or seeing his father walk into work every day without complaint. It begins in dusty barns and quiet libraries. It begins with a boy who didn't have connections, but had commitment. That's why Jeff's story resonates, because it reminds us that success isn't about where you start. It's about what you believe in when no one's watching. His journey teaches us that the most powerful force is not genius, but quiet determination. When you open the door to Jeff Bezos' past, you don't find private jets or fame. You find a little boy in a ranch workshop, holding a wrench in one hand and a dream in the other, trying to fix something just to understand how it works. Jeff Bezos' life lessons are more than business principles. They are a unique way to learn practical, powerful English. Each idea he shares is wrapped in simple, direct language, perfect for learners who want to grow their vocabulary while also improving their thinking. When you listen to Bezos speak, you're not just hearing a billionaire talk about success. You're hearing clear, structured English that teaches mindset and meaning together. His phrases are not complex or academic. They are built from everyday words, but they hold deep power. That's what makes them so effective for English learners, because you're learning how to speak in a way that is both natural and impactful. Take, for example, his lesson, focus on the long term. This short sentence teaches two important English words, focus and long term. You not only learn their definitions, but also see how native speakers use them to express strategy and patience. Focus means to give your full attention to something. Long term refers to a time far into the future. When you combine them, you understand that success isn't about what you can do today. It's about what you build over years. Just by understanding this phrase, you're learning both language and life strategy. Another lesson he shares is be stubborn on vision, but flexible on details. This one gives you even more to work with. Stubborn means not giving up easily. Vision is your dream or goal. Flexible means able to change, and details are the small parts of a plan. This sentence gives you 4 useful words in one powerful message. You're not just memorizing vocabulary, you're learning how to use these words to express real-life ideas. You understand that you can keep your big dream, but change the small steps to reach it. This is how you learn English with meaning, not just memorization. Bezos often uses phrases like customer obsession, invent on behalf of the customer, or earn trust. These are business ideas, but they are also simple English expressions that teach action. Obsession shows intensity. Invent means to create something new on behalf of teaches a useful phrase for formal English. And earn trust teaches a key idea about relationships. These phrases help you build a strong vocabulary while learning how high-level thinkers communicate clearly and effectively. By studying Jeff's lessons, you're also practicing sentence structure. His style is clean, direct, and to the point. He avoids long, confusing explanations. Instead, he uses short sentences with strong verbs and active language. That's exactly how fluent English sounds, confident and clear. Listening to his interviews, reading his quotes, and understanding his message is like taking a masterclass in both mindset and language. It trains your ears to recognize natural rhythm and your mind to think in full English thoughts, not just translated words. At the end of Jeff Bezos' journey, one truth stands out clearly. He didn't just build a company, he built a mindset. And that mindset isn't reserved for billionaires or tech geniuses. It's something anyone can learn, especially English learners who want to go beyond grammar and vocabulary. Every lesson he shares is a window into how successful people think, speak, and make decisions. And that's exactly where your own transformation begins. By absorbing these ideas, you're not only improving your English skills, you're shifting your way of thinking toward success. When you learn English through Jeff's life story, it's not about language alone. It's about seeing yourself differently, with more confidence, more patience, and a bigger vision. Many learners struggle because they focus only on the technical side of English. They memorize rules, study from books, and repeat phrases, but they don't feel confident. Why? Because they haven't connected the language with real life. They haven't found inspiration behind the words. But when you study someone like Jeff Bezos, every sentence is more than a lesson. It's a reason to keep going. When he says you have to be willing to be misunderstood for long periods of time, he's not just talking about business. He's describing the very journey of learning English. You will make mistakes. You will be misunderstood, but that's part of the path. Hearing that from someone who built a global empire makes your own journey feel valid and powerful. Jeff's story shows that fluency isn't just about speaking correctly. It's about speaking with belief. It's about using language to shape your future. That's why learning English through real-life success stories matters. It connects you to purpose. Instead of reading dull examples, you're learning from someone who used his words to change the world. And you start to copy that rhythm, that energy, that direct style of thinking. You stop thinking in your native language and start thinking like someone who solves problems, who takes action, who believes in the power of ideas. As you follow Jeff's 10 life lessons, your English becomes more than just a skill. It becomes a tool for leadership. You begin to notice how successful people use specific words to make a strong point. You start using those words yourself. You begin speaking with clarity because you understand the message behind the sentence. You start believing that success is not reserved for others. It's something you can earn, just like English fluency. Jeff's mindset is a bridge between language and ambition. It reminds you that you don't need perfect conditions to start. You just need courage, direction, and consistent effort. His journey lights the path not only to business success, but to inner growth, showing that anyone, regardless of where they start, can rise with the right mindset and the right words.